how you doing today? We've got a fun one for you. We're gonna do Your Voice, Your Magic 9 questions community project, which I'm doing, I guess, a virtual response to that. It started out, I watched a video by Justin at the Witch of Enchantment. He did this virtual response to the tag, which was started by Taren over at the House of Witchcraft. So I will tag both those creators down in the description, so you can go check out their videos as well. But yeah, I thought this is kind of fun. I love these kind of projects, right, where everybody kind of replies on a tag. So I thought I'm gonna jump in. So for those of you who are new around here, my name is Taya. Welcome to the channel. We talk about all things witchcraft. And for those of you who returning viewers, maybe coming in from another video, welcome back. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. And all of you, please consider subscribing. It's a great way to help us build the channel. And for those of you who don't know, this is my dog Luna, who is like in this very needily aggressive stage. So she, like if I just hold my hands up here, she's like, pet me, pet me, pet me. So she's very needy. So she pops into my videos every once in a while. So let's get started. Your Voice, Your Magic, the 9 questions community project. So question number 1 is, how old were you when you started feeling witchy or magical? For me, I would say I have felt that way probably my whole life. I started out at a very young age. I was born on an acreage, so I lived out in, in the, not in the wilds, but right, I lived out on an acreage outside of the city. And I have it's funny, we moved out of there when I was 5, but I have so many memories, early memories of playing by myself, like in the woods on the edge of our property, and picking little baby strawberries and going for like skidoo rides in the winter and just being outdoors. That was very much my thing. And then when we moved into the city, we ended up with, my grandfather built us this beautiful playhouse in our backyard. And I remember spending summers picking all of the weeds and making potions out of them. And at the time, I never thought I was particularly witchy. It was just like, this is just what I did. And then I had this wonderful book, and I meant to grab it and I forgot, by Roald Dahl, and I can't remember the name of the story, but it was about a man who learned to see through playing cards, like, like cards that a deck of cards. And he learned to see through them, and it actually in the story talks about the process that he goes through to learn to be able to see through these cards, and I just believed it so much. I sat there for like months on end trying to learn to see through playing cards so that I could have this ability. So I've always been a magic believer, and yeah, so that was kind of, I think I've just always felt witchy or magical. Like I've just always very much believed in it in my life. I wish I would have had Harry Potter as a child. That probably would have been a huge one for me. So question number 2 is, when did you say it out loud about being witchy or magical? For me, I don't remember necessarily saying it out loud, but I remember finding this book, Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. Now, I am not Wiccan, but I keep this book because this was the first witch book I ever bought. And I remember going like, oh my God, stop it, Luna, enough. I remember going, oh my God, there is actually something out there that is legit, like not just make-believe magical stuff, but there's a legit path to practice magic in real life. Might not be quite what you read about in the books and the stories, but what? Like, sign me up. And that was, so for me, that was that like huge aha moment. I don't remember necessarily saying it out loud, but I remember it like reverberating through my head, like, I bought this book and I was like, yes, that is what I want to do. Question number 3 is, how do you relate to divinity? Kind of a heavy hitting question. A lot of these are sort of light and fun. This is a big one. So I guess for me, divinity, I'm a big believer sort of in universal consciousness, that we actually create divinity from within ourselves as a group of people. I believe that it comes from us, but I do believe that it is external to us, but that it is created within each one of us, and that they kind of link up into this universal consciousness. I do believe in sort of the personification of that as the witch father and the witch mother. The way I see it is our life is like this constant, every moment we have a choice on what we want to do. We have free will. There's all these different threads leading forward from every single moment. And as we go through life, we are constantly picking and choosing which thread we're going to follow, right? The threads laid out in front of us are the ones that are our most likely choices. As you kind of get the threads going out to the side, those are the less likely choices. And I believe that magic is what drives us, makes those threads that are further out, that are within the realm of possibility but aren't as likely, it pulls them into that center lane, so to speak. And I believe that it's the witch mother who is weaving those threads behind us, creating the tapestry of our life. And I believe that it is the witch father who is holding our hand and guiding us along our choices and our, how we're gonna weave that tapestry, so to speak, or have it woven for us. Just a little bit about how I relate to divinity. I do also work with deity in a more archetypal sense, but really for me it's more about like the witch father and the witch mother and this like weaving of our fate and the choices that we make in life. So that's question number 3. Question number 4, what's your favorite moon phase? This is kind of fun because for me it's just recently changed. I used to be kind of a new moon girl. It is now the dark moon. My favorite moon phase is the dark moon. I think mostly because that's what I've plunged myself into learning about lately. I used to be sort of a full moon, new moon, full moon, new moon. And through my studies, I've learned more about the dark moon and the witch's new moon. So the dark moon is actually what most people would call the new moon, right? When it's dark, there is no reflection off the moon. It's about a 3-day period. And right, the moon is actually up during the daytime and there is no reflection off of it, so we can't really see it, and it's dark at night. To the new moon, when you get that first crescent, when you see that first crescent, to me, that's the new moon. And it took me a long time to wrap my head over into that concept. So for me right now, it's definitely the dark moon, just because I'm learning so much about it and what it's good for, what that time of that moon phase is good for. It's sort of a new thing in my practice, so I think that's probably my favorite, is the dark moon. Question number 5, your favorite type of divination. So yeah, definitely for me it's tarot. So I use the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sturl. Love the Modern Witch Tarot. I just learned to read tarot with it. And while I'm not like reading for other people, I can read for myself without having to constantly refer back to a guidebook. So I picked, it came quite intuitively to me. So I really like tarot. But the other one I love that I'm learning right now is the Oham. And basically you have the little staves, and each little stave has a different character on it. So you get all these little staves. Whoops. Gotta pick that up or my dog will eat it. Here she comes. I'm very protective of these because my dog eats wood. And anyways, you reach in and you take you can just do a 1 or 3 stave draw, but I'll take like a handful of them. So you'll get like probably about 8 to 12 staves, and you toss them out in front of you and you read them by like, do they veer to the left, to the right? Are they staves closer to you or farther away from you? It's almost like throwing the bones, but it's with the Oham. So that is probably, the Oham right now is probably my favorite, but tarot is like my go-to. So question number 6, what type of magic are you most likely to use? Candles, herbs, sigils, jars. I tend to use, I'm big on folk magic. So if it's got a red thread or a rowan berry in it, honey, it's in my house somewhere. I'm big on folk magic, and probably if I'm doing like actual like working magic, like not protection, like not like, you know what I mean, creating charms and talismans and that kind of stuff, if I'm actually like trying to affect some kind of a change, I think I usually go more towards like candle magic, sigils or candle magic, and I heat my candle magic up with lots of herbs and, corresponding ingredients, that kind of stuff. Definitely, I'm probably a candle girl if it's not like a folk magic thing. Number 7, what is your favorite magical tool? You can probably see it behind me. It's huge. It's my stang. So I'm just gonna like push the camera up so you can see it. I just absolutely love there it is. Here I am. I love it. It's big. It's like probably about this much taller than I am, and I'm like, you know, 5'8.5". So it's a very large piece, and I love that it has that beautiful, like it looks like horns at the top, almost like antlers or horns. It took me a few years to find this one in particular. I have other ones, but this one in particular took me a while to find. It is by and far my most favorite. Sorry, oops, I'm just gonna move this down now that we good. So that's definitely my favorite tool. I love it because it works like a staff or a wand. You can use it for directing energy. You can drag it to lay your compass. You can use it to create an altar in your ritual space, and by like laying items around the base of it. And then you can also like decorate the stang itself, which you can, you know, do seasonally with like garlands of flowers and that kind of stuff. You can decorate it with like arrows to represent like the witch mother and different, honestly, I don't even know. I haven't gone that far in my studies. But you can like decorate it with like arrows. You can hang an actual like skull on it. You can use it, you can put a candle between the two tines, like right in here, right in the base there. You can set a candle if you're, you know, looking for divine enlightenment or that kind of an idea. Oh my gosh, you can do so much with it. You can just take it on a walk with you and like let it infuse with the nature around you. You can just, it's such a multi-purpose tool. Oh, you can ride it to go to the other world. You can like fly out or do hedge crossing with it. It's such a multi-purpose tool, and I love it because it is so unique and representative of traditional craft. You don't really find it in any other tradition. So yeah, I absolutely love my stang. It is definitely my number one most favorite magical tool. Number 8, do you write things down in your journal or grimoire? Okay, I've got some things to share with y'all. Like, oh my gosh, I have so many books. So we're gonna go through them because I just love sharing this stuff. So first of all, I have 2 working journals. This is my this book, I'd love to say I take my grimoire into ritual with me. It's too big and bulky. So I actually have everything, whenever I go to do a ritual, anything I need to know or need to do in the ritual is in this book. So it is sort of a grimoire of sorts, but it's like it's a working book, right? It also has notes. When I'm doing daily divinations, I'll write them out in here. Isaac, honey, can you please take that from her? It's much too loud. Sorry, dog stuff again. So yeah, and I'll have like my daily divinations in here. So it's a bit of a tarot journal and an OM journal. And yeah, so this is a working journal I have. Plus I have this little guy. This used to be my working journal, but what I found was it's really hard. It doesn't lay flat when I open it. So it's really hard to use when I'm in ritual. So I use it more for like taking notes, like little projects I'm working on, that kind of stuff. So that's those 2. Then I have my everyday, which you guys will see when I do my like flip throughs. I have this big journal, which, it's a planner. So I have like my everyday planning. I've got my planning for my business in here and my YouTube, and I've got in here all of my spiritual planning, and all of my spiritual tracking goes into this book here. And then I have kind of this one here, which is sort of it was my original grimoire, but I mostly journal in here now. I kind of keep track of major life events that happen. And yeah, and a lot of the informational stuff that's in here has transferred over to my new grimoire, which I love. I'm gonna decorate this here, but in here I create all of my this is where this is going to be like the final grimoire. This is like the final say, this big puppy here. And yeah, I can do some work with the cover and stuff, but the interior is really, I just love this. Like here's my layout on the OHM. So yeah, so do I write things down? Yes, my friends, I do. I am a bit of a journaling aholic. I love journaling. I love writing stuff down. I think that's so important in your practice, keeping magical records. And so yeah, I write down a lot. I do have sort of a, you know, a grimoire, and then I have my other big book that is more of like, yeah, it's more of a journal, more of a record of magical events in my life, of important happenings in my life. Like when I started my Witchy YouTube channel, I put that in my book. When I started my new guild, I wrote about that in my book, right? So that in the years to come, I can go back and say, oh, these are important things that happened in my witchcraft journey through life. So yeah, definitely I write things down in my books. And question number 9, the best advice you have learned so far. Hands down, if it works, it works. We spend so much time comparing and what's everybody else doing and how did you do this and what. At the end of the day, if you do something and it works, it works. Even if it doesn't work for a single another witchcraft practitioner on this earth, it worked for you, therefore it works, therefore it's valid. Stop. Just if it works, it works. And that took a lot of the, for me, it just took a lot of that like pressure off my practice. It stopped me with the comparing all the time. If it works, it works. You know what? It worked for me, so it works. Boom. Done. So that is my virtual response on Your Voice, Your Magic 9 questions community project. If you'd like to participate, please tag me in your virtual response. And don't forget to tag Taren, who is at House of Witchcraft. She created the tag, and this of course was a response to Justin and his glitter witches at the Witch of Enchantment. So yeah, I hope that was fun for you guys. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, yeah, that's our video. We'll catch you in the next one. Mwah! Thanks so much, you guys.